Now, it is time for the most correct, the most accurate power rankings of the GAA football counties in Ireland. We brought these to you pre-season, but after 2 weekends of football, we're going to update these now. And as ever, we're going to go from 33 all the way to 1. So let's rattle through these, and we're going to start at number 33, non-mover New York. They got hammered by Mayo, so unfortunately they're staying at the bottom for probably the duration of the summer. Now, Antrim have dropped down 2. They haven't played yet. It's more due to the fact that we've had 2 movers from 32 and from 31. One of them is London, up 1. Their narrow defeat to Galway probably raised a few eyebrows. They only lost by 4 points on that occasion in Ruislip. They'll go through the back door. Further opportunity for them to move. Wexford down 1. They lost to Louth and are out of the Leinster Football Championship. While Leitrim here, one of the big fallers, they're down 4. They got hammered on a 3-17 to 12 point scoreline by Roscommon. Disappointment for people who thought their Division 4 campaign would lead to something. Clearly, though, what we've realised is championship and league is league, to use that cliche. Sligo then down 2. Again, a victim of other people rising. They've yet to play. Wicklow up 1. They ran Kildare very narrowly last weekend, only losing by 2 points. So a good performance from them, and I'd make them better than Sligo at this point.
I think it's unfair that they're ahead of Leitrim. Leitrim lost away from home to a Division 1 team as of 2019. Like, Leitrim are a better team than Wicklow.
In your view, how much better are Roscommon than Kildare?
I would say at the moment they're a decent deal better, given the injuries that Kildare have had to contend with.
Well, I actually did have them a decent deal better than them on the power rankings. I think if you take both things into consideration, the way they were absolutely pulverised and the way Wicklow really ran Kildare close, I think if they came up against each other in the morning, I think Wicklow will beat Leitrim.
Okay, I'd have to argue against that, but look, these are your rankings, not mine.
Well, that's the first argument we'll have. There's more to come here, I dare say.
Is there an element of snow globe to this, Owen? Where you've shaken the snow globe and seen where everything lands and you go, yeah, I'm sticking with this?
Not at all.
Are you sure?
No, remember, as I said at the start, they're the most correct and absolutely accurate, and you can't argue against them whatsoever. Waterford are up 1.
Fix them now if you want.
Waterford are up 1 to 26. They should have beaten Clare. They could have beaten Clare last weekend. 9 points out was the final score in that one. The big risers at 25 are Limerick, beating Tipperary. They're up 6. Limerick, I should say, 3-11 to 110.
Limerick is still behind Tipperary in your power rankings, even though they've just beaten them.
You think
can I just Limerick are behind the team they've beaten in the power rankings, and the power rankings is a rate of who's better currently in the standings in the football championship.
For sure, and I think
I just wanted to lay that out there.
Did you think?
Make sure that that's accurate.
Did you think last weekend was an upset?
Yeah, clearly was.
Well, there you go. You've answered your own question. An upset is when a team that isn't as good as the other team beats them.
So can I just say, if we get to the end of the year and Mayo beat Dublin in the All-Ireland final and Mayo are underdogs, Dublin will still be number 1 in your power rankings the week after.
If I feel that Dublin are still the best team in the country.
Great.
This is ranked on the best teams in the country.
Okay, fair enough. Just wanted
It wasn't just that they upset them. They beat them.
They hammered them. Yeah.
So
they played brilliant football in the process.
They certainly did. That's why they've jumped 6 points.
Yeah, I just think that they should be ahead of Tip.
Yeah, Tip need to fall. You get punished. It's power. And Big truth to power.
So what do you think? How much? So do you think Tip have stayed in the same place?
Well, no. Let's see where
they are the biggest droppers in the entire thing.
They're not behind the team that beat them. Go on.
They're 2 divisions apart. They're 2 divisions apart.
Who cares? League is league.
As I've already said.
So hang on. Are Limerick up 25 and Tipperary 24?
Yes.
So all you have to do is flip the positions 1 spot. 1 spot, and this is perfect.
And they're only 1 division apart as of 2020.
Well, yes, that's true, because Tip got relegated. I still think that Tipperary are a better team than Limerick. Right. I think Limerick upset them massively last weekend, and I still think Tipperary are a better team than them. If they played that game
this weekend, the Gaelic rounds, who would you have as winning?
If they played that game 10 times in a row, I would say Tipperary will beat them 6, potentially 7 times out of the 10.
There's a strong possibility that if they played again next week, Limerick would beat them again, and if they play the week after that, Limerick would beat them again, because they've now just decided that they've progressed to the point where they're going to beat this team and they have their number. That's also what happens in these, like, teams make massive strides quickly in the championship.
It's also what I love about this debate is that we are having a blazing row over who are ranked 25th and 26th in the Gaelic
24th and 25th, David, for God's sake.
It's like when Game of Thrones does something stupid. You're like, oh, well, there's dragons in this show. You can't believe any of it. It's like, well, the whole point is it's supposed to be consistent.
Well, the consistency here is based on years of watching these teams. This was a huge moment for Limerick. That's why they're up 6. It was a terrible day for Limerick. That's why they're down 6. It is simple as that. That's why Tipperary are down 6. A terrible day for them. But these are knee-jerk reactions, but they're not that knee-jerky, Ger. So Tipperary getting hammered. They're in 24th, down 6. Didn't even plan that. Lovely alliteration. At 23, we've got Carlow down 2. Again, it's kind of due to a couple of risers, and the same with Longford down 2 as well. Carlow and Longford yet to play. Offaly are up 3. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here after their performance against Meath. They could have beaten them last weekend. They're a better side than I thought initially. They're up to 21. Derry as well. Good performance against Tyrone. They probably scored that goal a little bit too early, as Joe Bradley said in the Sunday game on Sunday. They lost by 6 points. They're up 3. They're up 3. They're up to 20. And Louth are also up 3. So I've taken the 3 of them, and they've all moved up 3 places. Louth beating
up 3, courtesy of beating Wexford.
Yeah. They won, Dave. Winning is key. Winning is key.
Okay. They're favourites, though, right?
It's a bit generous.
Well,
they were strong favourites of that game, so it wasn't an upset.
In my pre-competition rankings, I had them ahead of Offaly and I had them at Derry. I don't see any reason why the weekend's results lets them to be relegated below those teams. They won a game. They did what they were supposed to do. I think it will be a bit harsh. So Carlow and Longford are the 2 that I've relegated on the base, and Tipperary, of course, on the basis that they haven't shown what they can do in Championship yet. These will be updated every week. If Carlow and Longford do what they can do and win a Leinster Championship game, we will see this reshuffled. It's the way it happens. Louth hold on to their pre-season ranking ahead of Offaly and Derry. At 18, we've got down again, up 1, and
up 1?
Because Tipperary plummeted.
Okay.
Cork then a non-mover at 17.
Down did nothing. They didn't have to do anything basically. Derry went up even though they lost the game as well. It's hard to keep track of some of this. Derry improving because they lost well.
Yeah, well, they lost to the last year's All-Ireland finalists.
Ger, how much did you tip Tyrone to beat Derry by last week?
More than 7 points.
20 points, I think.
Lost by 6.
You could have won by 20, I think, was your exact phrase.
You cannot argue with them moving Derry up on the rankings on the basis of last Sunday.
Well, I mean, let's wait.
It was their best performance in the Ulster Championship against a Division 1 team probably for 5 years. They were leading with 10 minutes to go by a point.
Yeah, even less.
And they had a couple of goal chances that they didn't take. I'm not going to argue with you on that one, Owen. That's a good call.
Against an All-Ireland finalists. Then into part 3, we've got Clare down 1, just absolutely snuck past Waterford. That's the reason for that. Westmeath then up 1, flipping again. Westmeath, if they put in a worse performance than Clare, would probably be down. Laois, non-mover, haven't played yet. Kildare down 1, snuck past Wicklow. Poor enough performance from them. As we saw last summer, they tend to come into it as the ground gets harder again, but you suspect that this team just isn't good enough to put in a performance against the likes of Mayo. 12 then is Armagh. They replace Kildare in that position. Yet to play a big game against Down this weekend. At 11 we've got Cavan, a non-mover. From here on out it actually kind of gets a bit boring. Meath then.
Cavan will be top 10 this day next week.
You think they're going to beat Monaghan?
I think they have a very good chance.
But it'll certainly bring them into that if they do that. At 10, I've moved Meath down. This is might be a bit controversial given they've actually won. But I think we convinced ourselves that they were going to hammer Offaly. That might say a bit more about Offaly than Meath. Time will tell.
Meath's second win under McIntyre in the Leinster Championship.
Is that all? At 9 then, Fermanagh go into the top 10. This, I know people were saying that 10 was even too high for them before the season began. This is a very championship-weighted thing. Who would you rather back in a championship match this summer, Meath or Fermanagh, over the last couple of summers even? I'm giving the edge to Fermanagh here. Just about.
I'm not backing Fermanagh against any team outside of Ulster.
If Fermanagh and Meath met in Park Talchan this Saturday night, I'd be backing Meath.
But what about in Brewster Park?
That would change it.
Well, exactly. It's like you're giving the advantage. Pick it at a neutral venue, and at a neutral venue for me, it's just
to come through in a close game. I think they would beat them well in Navan. I'm still unconvinced because of what happened for Fermanagh outside of Ulster last year.
And also within Ulster, they got an awful shilligan in the Ulster final against Donegal.
Doesn't say much about Monaghan, does it?
That was an outlier.
Exactly.
That was a freak occurrence.
Well, I think you can only deal with so many occurrences in Championship. So ultimately, the freak occurrences have to come into it in some part. There are freak occurrences in the Premier League and they get weighted less because you play for 38 times. You only play 4 games in the summer. The freak occurrences, unfortunately, when it comes to things like this, are an important part of the discourse. I factored them into this. So call me a freak for including freak occurrences into this, but I've included them.
There are a number of teams way down your rankings that if they played Fermanagh at home in the Championship tomorrow, I would back them to beat Fermanagh.
All the way down.
Limerick being one of them, Tipperary probably, Clare, Kildare, Armagh, I would probably throw Laois in there as well.
If Armagh
Laois would beat Fermanagh at home if they played tomorrow in the
I
championship.
definitely think they would in Port Laois, yeah.
If Armagh played them in the qualifiers, I'd give them a chance. If Armagh played them in the Ulster Championship, I'd be like, well, I'm just not sure.
Now, I know people pointed for Fermanagh, well, look, they were very high finishers in Division 2 this year, so they're clearly ranked in at the very least the top 12 as regards Alliance League football. But there are a number of teams there that I would back to beat Fermanagh if they play them at home in a qualifier.
At number 8, we've got Roscommon. They hammered Leitrim at the weekend. It's just tough to break into the top 7 at the moment because Donegal, we still have them there at 7. At Galway then, I just moved them down to 6 after that performance against London. Very unconvincing, and just bumped Monaghan back up 1. Like this is championship weighted. This is last year's championship weighted. Who put in the better semi-final performance last year in the All Ireland series? Granted, against far inferior.
Ruislip suddenly is like so important that
Fortress Ruislip.
Yeah, you know.
It just made me reevaluate who's a better team, Galway or Monaghan.
James Horan needed extra time in Ruislip in his first season to win a game.
Yeah, and how did they get on that season?
They got to the All Ireland semi-final.
Good point. How did they get on that All Ireland semi-final?
They won Connacht every year.
They were beaten by Kerry, but they were competitive, and it was Horan's first game in charge.
I'm not sure how competitive that game actually was. I think the Horan
Not the All Ireland champions in the quarterfinals.
The first Horan era was a huge success, but was the first Horan season a huge success? From where they were, it was.
Yeah, they got knocked out the previous year by Longford or Leitrim in the qualifiers.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
massive step forward.
That doesn't mean that they were the top 2 teams that Horan took them to be immediately.
I've forgotten what we were arguing about there.
Ruislip.
Oh yes,
overreacting to Ruislip.
It's not an overreaction. They've moved down 1 place.
Yeah, they've moved out of the top 5. You're putting Monaghan, who you think are going to get beaten by Cavan next week ahead of them. Snow Globe. Yeah. I'm calling Snow Globe.
Tyrone at 4, Kerry at 3, Mayo at 2, Dublin at 1.
Right. Good job, Owen.
Thank you for patronising it.
No, it's a good job. You got to defend it's a sticky wicket you're on.
No, it's okay. Snow Globe is back. Probably never.
No. It's a fixture now all season.
There is no way you can come in here any Wednesday. This is always done on a Wednesday. I watch every morning, of course. But you'll never please everybody. This is a thankless job you've been asked to do throughout the championship. I admire you.
Thank you, Dave.
Cavan Monaghan is in Kingspan Breffni, 7 o'clock on Saturday night, live on Sky Sports. Dave McIntyre calling the plays. The Connacht Senior Football Championship semi-final is getting real. Sligo against Galway, Markovich Park. 3:30 on Sunday, and Down against Armagh in Park Eshler. That's the deferred coverage on telly. Is the Ulster quarter-final also on Sunday. And what's Tommy typing out? 2 versus 6. What's that? You can just say it in my ear if you want, Tommy. Anyway. Oh, in terms of the numbers, 11 versus 5, Cavan versus Monaghan. Sligo versus Galway is 28 versus 6 in the power rankings, and Down versus Armagh is Gelatinous Kloop number in the middle versus Gelatinous Kloop number slightly higher.
Yeah, it would be an upset if Cavan won on Saturday night, but I think it's a possibility. Kingspan Breffni will be rocking Saturday night.
Cavan.
Yeah, look, and the McIntyres will be there en masse on Saturday night, but Cavan haven't won a match. I think it's 1 win in the Ulster Championship in the last 5 years. They've come very close to beating Monaghan, and the last 2 times they've played them, Monaghan's superior experience and a bit of class sprinkled in there as well, and particularly the forwards when they needed it was the telling factor.
I think when we did our season predictions, a lot of people were pinpointing that as the early shock of the summer. Cavan beating Monaghan this weekend.
Yeah, and it shouldn't necessarily be a shock. Both Division 1 teams this year, one relegated, one came very close to being relegated. Monaghan missing 2 of their best players, in particularly Darren Hughes being missed will be massive from their point of view.
In fairness, it is. All right.